Marcus' chin gripped the leather steering wheel of his silver Mercedes. His knuckles turned white. The meeting had ended early. For once in 5 years, he was going home before dark. Finally, he whispered to himself. The golden gates of his Westwood estate swung open. At exactly 12:43 p.m., Marcus drove up the long driveway lined with perfect rose bushes. Everything looked beautiful. Everything looked expensive. Everything looked exactly how he wanted it. But something was wrong. Near the tall stone pillars by the front entrance, Marcus saw a shape on the ground. His heart jumped. He pressed hard on the brakes. The car screeched to a stop. A woman lay crumpled on the stone walkway, like a broken doll. Elena, his maid. Marcus threw open the car door and ran. His expensive shoes clicked against the stones. As he got closer, his stomach twisted into a tight knot. 2 small boys stood near Elena's body. They were crying. Tears streamed down their round cheeks. "Daddy! Daddy!" 7-year-old Mateo screamed. His voice cracked with fear. "Elena won't wake up," Diego shouted. His twin brother's face was red and wet. Marcus dropped to his knees beside Elena. Her brown uniform was covered in dirt and sweat stains. Her black hair had come loose from its usual tight bun. Strands stuck to her pale, damp forehead. "Elena," Marcus said. His voice shook. "Elena, can you hear me?" She didn't move. Marcus touched her shoulder gently. Her skin felt cold even though the California sun beat down on them. He looked at her hands. They were covered in cracks and red marks. Her fingernails were broken. These weren't the hands of someone who worked normal hours. These were the hands of someone who never stopped working. "What happened?" Marcus asked his sons. "Tell me everything." Mateo wiped his nose with his sleeve. She was carrying big buckets. 2 big buckets of water from the garden. She was walking funny, Diego added, like her legs didn't work right. Then she just fell down, Mateo said. Fresh tears rolled down his cheeks. "We tried to wake her up, Daddy. We tried so hard." Marcus pulled out his phone with shaking fingers. He dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? A calm voice asked. "My employee collapsed," Marcus said quickly. "She's unconscious. She's breathing, but she won't wake up. We need an ambulance right now." The operator asked for his address. Marcus gave it. She asked questions about Elena's breathing, her pulse. Marcus checked everything with trembling hands. "The ambulance is 4 minutes away, sir," the operator said. "Stay with her. Keep talking to her." Marcus looked down at Elena's face. Really looked at it for the first time in months. Maybe years. When had she gotten so thin? Her cheeks looked hollow. Dark purple circles sat under her closed eyes like bruises. Her lips were cracked and dry. How had he not noticed? "Elena," he said softly. "Help is coming. Just hold on." Mateo grabbed his father's arm. "Is she going to die?" "No," Marcus said firmly, but his heart wasn't sure. "She's going to be fine. She told us she was dizzy this morning," Diego said in a small voice. "At breakfast." "Yeah," Mateo nodded. "And she said her head hurt, and her tummy felt weird." Marcus felt something cold crawl up his spine. "Did she eat breakfast with you?" Both boys shook their heads. "She said she wasn't hungry," Mateo explained. "She never eats with us anymore. She just makes our food and watches us eat," Diego added. "Then she cleans up and does other stuff." Other stuff. Marcus knew what that meant. Cleaning the 15-room mansion, doing the laundry, making the beds, cooking 3 meals a day, taking care of 2 energetic boys, all by herself. Because 2 weeks ago, Marcus had made a decision. The company needed to save money, he'd told himself. Times were tough, so he'd fired the other household staff. The cook, the gardener, the second maid, the driver. He'd kept only Elena. "It's temporary," he'd told her, "just until things improve." But had he asked if she could handle all that work alone? Had he checked on her? Had he even really looked at her in the past 2 weeks? No, he'd been too busy. Too focused on his meetings, his deals, his empire of money and power. The sound of sirens cut through the air. The ambulance appeared at the gates. Two paramedics in blue uniforms jumped out. They rushed over with a stretcher and medical bags. "Sir, please step back," a woman paramedic said. She knelt beside Elena. Marcus moved away, pulling his sons close. The boys grabbed onto his legs and buried their faces in his expensive suit pants. The paramedics worked fast. They checked Elena's pulse, her eyes, her breathing. They stuck a needle in her arm and attached a bag of clear liquid. "Severe dehydration," the woman paramedic said to her partner. "Blood pressure is dangerously low. Pulse is weak. Malnutrition signs, too," the man added. He was shining a small light in Elena's eyes. "When did she last eat, sir?" Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no idea. I don't know," he admitted. Shame burned hot in his chest. The paramedics lifted Elena onto the stretcher. As they did, something white fell from her uniform pocket, a piece of paper. Marcus picked it up. It was folded many times, worn soft like someone had carried it for days. He unfolded it carefully. The words were in Spanish. Marcus didn't speak Spanish well, but he recognized some words. Mama, mother, hospital, cancer, dinero urgente, urgent money. His hand started shaking again. "We need to transport her now," the woman paramedic said. "Are you family?" "I'm her employer," Marcus said. The word felt dirty in his mouth. "I'm coming with you." "Daddy want to come too." Mateo cried. "Please." Diego begged. "We need to make sure Elena's okay." The paramedics looked at each other, then at the two frightened boys. "There's room," the man said kindly. "Come on." They all climbed into the ambulance. The boys sat on a small bench, holding hands tightly. Marcus sat near Elena's stretcher. He watched the paramedics work on her unconscious body. The ambulance doors slammed shut. The sirens started wailing. They rushed through the streets of Los Angeles toward the hospital. Elena's face looked peaceful, almost like she was sleeping. But Marcus knew better now. This wasn't peaceful sleep. This was a body that had been pushed beyond its limits. A body that had worked and worked and worked until it simply couldn't anymore. And it was his fault. The note was still clutched in his hand. He looked down at it again. Cancer. Her mother had cancer. Elena was sending money home. How much of her salary? Most of it? All of it? What had she been living on? Is she going to wake up? Mateo whispered. Marcus pulled his sons close. "I hope so, buddy. I really hope so." But as the ambulance raced through red lights and the paramedics called ahead to the emergency room, Marcus Chun, billionaire, CEO, master of the business world, realized something terrifying. For the first time in his life, money might not be able to fix what he'd broken. The emergency room doors burst open. Nurses in colorful scrubs rushed toward the ambulance. Everyone moved fast, like dancers who knew exactly what to do. Female, approximately 40 years old. The paramedic called out, "Severe dehydration, malnutrition, possible cardiac stress from exhaustion." They wheeled Elena down a bright white hallway. Marcus held tight to his son's hands as they followed. The squeak of the stretcher wheels echoed off the walls. Mateo and Diego's sneakers made soft padding sounds on the shiny floor. "Sir, you'll need to wait here," a nurse said gently. She pointed to a room with blue chairs and old magazines. "The doctors will update you soon." "But," Marcus started. "Please," the nurse said. Her eyes were kind but firm. "Let us help her." The doors swung shut. Elena disappeared behind them. Marcus stood frozen in the hallway. His sons pressed against his sides. The waiting room felt cold and empty even though other people sat in the chairs. An old man coughed. A woman rocked a crying baby. A teenager held an ice pack to his swollen ankle. "Daddy, I'm scared," Diego whispered. Marcus sat down in a blue chair. He lifted both boys onto his lap, even though they were getting big for that. They felt warm and small and precious. "Me too," Marcus admitted. "Me too, buddy." Mateo played with a button on Marcus's suit jacket. "Elena takes care of us every day." "Every single day," Diego agreed. "She makes our breakfast before school. She packs our lunches with little notes inside. She helps with homework. Mateo continued. Even the hard math problems you don't have time for. Each word hit Marcus like a punch. He thought about his typical day. He left the house at 6 in the morning before the boys woke up. He came home at 8 or 9 at night after they were already asleep, sometimes later. When was the last time he'd read them a bedtime story? When was the last time he'd asked about their day at school? When was the last time he'd really been their father, instead of just a man who paid the bills? She plays soccer with us in the backyard, Diego said. His voice got quieter. She's really good at goalie. And she doesn't get mad when we make messes, Mateo added. She just smiles and says, boys will be boys. Marcus felt something wet on his cheeks. He was crying when Addie started crying. She gives the best hugs, Diego said. Then he started crying too. What if she doesn't wake up? What if we never get another Elena hug? Sure, Marcus said, but his own voice broke. She'll wake up. She has to. 45 minutes crawled by like 45 hours. Marcus checked his watch over and over. The boys fell into a restless sleep against his chest. His arms grew numb, but he didn't move. He wouldn't move for anything. Finally, a doctor came through the doors. She wore green scrubs and had her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Her name tag said Dr. Patel. Mr. Chun? She asked. Marcus carefully shifted the boys and stood up. Yes. How is she? Dr. Patel's face was serious. She's stable now. We got her on 4 fluids and nutrients. But Mr. Chun, I need to be honest with you. Elena's condition is severe. Marcus's throat felt tight. What do you mean? Her body is completely depleted, Dr. Patel explained. She's severely malnourished. When was the last time she had a proper meal? Marcus thought hard. He tried to remember seeing Elena eat. Nothing came to mind. I don't know, he said quietly. Dr. Patel pulled out a tablet and showed him some numbers and charts. Her blood work shows she's been surviving on minimal calories for weeks, maybe months. Her electrolytes are dangerously low. Her heart is showing signs of strain from overwork and stress. Her heart. Marcus felt his own heart skip. Yes, Dr. Patel said. When the body doesn't get enough food and rest, the heart suffers. It's a muscle like any other. It needs fuel. It needs breaks. She paused. How many hours was Elena working each day? Marcus thought about the mansion. 15 rooms. 2 active 7-year-old boys. All the cooking, cleaning, laundry, yard work. I'm not sure, he admitted. The shame was back, heavier than before. Maybe 14? 16. Dr. Patel's eyebrows went up. 16 hours a day? How many days a week? 7. Marcus whispered. She lives with us. She's always there. So she works 16-hour days, 7 days a week, with no days off. Dr. Patel's voice got sharper. Mr. Chun, that's not employment. That's exploitation. The word hit Marcus like a slap. Exploitation. We found something in her pocket, Dr. Patel continued. She handed him a note he'd given to the paramedics. Can you read Spanish? A little, Marcus said. Elena's mother is dying of cancer in Guatemala, Dr. Patel said. Based on the note, Elena has been sending almost all her salary home to pay for treatment. She's been living on next to nothing so her mother can survive. Marcus felt dizzy. The hallway seemed to tilt. She never told me, he said weakly. Would you have listened? Dr. Patel asked. Her voice wasn't mean, just honest. When was the last time you had a real conversation with Elena? Marcus couldn't answer, because he knew the truth. He'd never had a real conversation with Elena. She was just the help. Someone who worked in the background. Someone he barely saw. Someone he'd treated like furniture instead of a human being. Can I see her? Marcus asked. Dr. Patel nodded. She's still unconscious. But yes, room 304 in the ICU. But Mr. Chun, she touched his arm. When Elena wakes up, and she will wake up, things need to change. Her body can't take any more of this. If she goes back to that same situation, she won't survive. The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus nodded slowly. Things will change. I promise. He woke the boys gently. They rubbed their eyes and looked around, confused for a moment. Then they remembered where they were. "Can we see Elena?" Mateo asked. "Yes," Marcus said, "but she's sleeping. We have to be very quiet." They took the elevator to the 3rd floor. The ICU was a hushed place with soft beeping sounds and the whisper machines. A nurse led them to room 304. Elena lay in a white bed surrounded by tubes and wires. A machine beeped steadily, showing her heartbeat in green lines, and 4 dripped clear liquid into her arm. Her face looked even paler against the white pillows. "Elena," Diego breathed. He ran to the bedside. "Careful," the nurse said kindly. "You can hold her hand if you're gentle." Both boys took one of Elena's hands. Her cracked, worn, hard-working hands. Mateo started crying again. Diego pressed his forehead against her arm. "Please wake up," Mateo whispered. "Please, please, please." Marcus stood at the foot of the bed. He looked at this woman, really looked at her. The woman who raised his sons. The woman who kept his house running. The woman who sacrificed everything, even her own health, to help her dying mother. The woman he'd never really seen until today. How many mornings had she gotten up in pain? How many nights had she fallen asleep hungry? How many times had she felt dizzy or sick, but kept working because she had no choice? And all while he drove his expensive car and ate fancy lunches and made $1,000,000 deals. "I am sorry," Marcus whispered. "Elena, I'm so sorry." The machine beeped. The 4 dripped. Elena slept on. "Mr. Chun?" The nurse touched his shoulder. "Visiting hours end soon, but you can come back tomorrow morning." "No," Marcus said firmly. "I am staying. I'm not leaving her." The nurse started to protest, but something in Marcus's face stopped her. She nodded. "I'll bring extra chairs," she said quietly. That night, Marcus Chun didn't go home to his mansion. He didn't check his emails or his stock reports. He didn't think about his company or his meetings. He sat in an uncomfortable hospital chair with his sleeping sons curled up beside him, and he watched over the woman who'd been watching over his family all along, the woman he'd almost killed through neglect. Outside the window, the Los Angeles sky turned from orange to purple to black. The city lights twinkled like fallen stars. And somewhere in that vast city, there were probably other Elenas, other people working themselves to death in silence. But Marcus could only save one person right now, and he was going to start with the woman in this bed. Morning light crept through the hospital window like a shy visitor. Marcus blinked his eyes open. His neck ached from sleeping in the chair. His suit was wrinkled. He probably looked terrible. He didn't care. Mateo and Diego were still asleep, curled up on a small couch the nurses had brought in. Their small chests rose and fell peacefully. Marcus looked at Elena. She was exactly the same as last night. Still pale. Still surrounded by beeping machines. Still unconscious. "Please wake up," he whispered. "Please." As if she'd heard him, Elena's fingers twitched. Marcus sat up straight. "Elena." Her eyelids fluttered. Once. Twice. Then slowly, like curtains opening, her eyes opened. "Mr. Chun?" Her voice was rough and quiet, like sandpaper on wood. "I'm here," Marcus said. He moved closer to the bed. "Don't try to sit up. You're in the hospital." Elena's eyes widened with panic. "The boys. I need to make their breakfast. I need to." She tried to push herself up. "Stop, stop," Marcus said gently, pressing her shoulder. "The boys are fine. They're right here. Look." He pointed to the couch where his son slept. Elena's eyes filled with tears. "I am sorry." "I'm so sorry, Mr. Chun. I tried to keep working. I tried so hard. Please don't fire me. I need this job. My mother—" "Sure," Marcus said. His own eyes were wet now. "You're not fired, and you have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. Do you understand? This is my fault. All of it." Elena looked confused. A tear rolled down her cheek. "I know about your mother," Marcus continued. "I found the note. I know she has cancer. I know you've been sending money home." Elena closed her eyes. More tears came. She's dying. The doctors in Guatemala said she needs medicine, expensive medicine. I send almost everything I earn, but it's not enough. It's never enough. Her voice broke on the last word. Marcus pulled the uncomfortable hospital chair right next to her bed. He sat down and looked at her directly. "How much does the treatment cost?" he asked. Elena shook her head. "I can't ask you for money, Mr. Chun. I just need to work. If I can just get back to work." "Elena," Marcus said firmly. "How much?" She was quiet for a long moment. Then in a tiny voice, $50,000 for the full treatment. I've saved $12,000 so far. $50,000. Marcus had spent more than that on his car. He'd spent more than that on the marble countertops in the kitchen. He'd probably spent more than that on business lunches last year. "Consider it done," Marcus said. "I'll wire the money today." Elena's mouth fell open. "Mr. Chun, I can't." "Yes, you can," Marcus said. "And you will. Your mother is going to get the treatment she needs. And you're going to take time off to recover. Paid time off. As much as you need." "But the house," Elena protested weakly. "The boys. Who will—" "I'm hiring back the staff," Marcus said. "All of them. The cook, the gardener, 2 maids instead of 1, and a driver." Just then, Mateo's sleepy voice came from couch. "Elena, you're awake." Both boys jumped up and ran to the bed. They were careful not to bump the tubes, but they pressed close to Elena's sides. "We were so scared," Diego said. Tears ran down his round cheeks. "We thought you might not wake up." "We thought you might leave us," Mateo added. Like Mom did." Marcus felt his heart crack open. The boy's mother had left 3 years ago. She decided she didn't want to be a mother or a wife anymore. She wanted freedom and adventure, and a life without responsibility. She'd walked away and never looked back. Since then, it had been Elena who dried their tears. Elena who bandaged her scraped knees. Elena who sang them lullabies in Spanish when they had bad dreams. Elena who loved them like they were her own children. "I'm not leaving," Elena said softly. She hugged each boy gently. "I promise. I'm not going anywhere." "Elena," Marcus said, "when you're better, I have a proposal for you." She looked at him nervously. "I don't want you to be our maid anymore," Marcus said. Elena's face went pale. "But you said—" "I want you to be our nanny," Marcus finished. "A real nanny, with a real salary, triple what you're making now, with health insurance, with vacation days and sick days. And you'll only work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week." Elena stared at him like he'd spoken a foreign language. "The other staff will handle the cleaning and cooking," Marcus continued. "Your only job will be taking care of Mateo and Diego, playing with them, helping with homework, being there for them." He paused. "Being the person you already are to them." "Why?" Elena whispered. "Why are you doing this?" Marcus looked at his sons. Their hopeful faces, their trust, their love for this woman who'd given them everything while he'd given them almost nothing. "Because I've been a terrible father," Marcus said honestly. "I've been so busy building my company that I forgot to build a relationship with my own children. I've been so focused on making money that I forgot what money is actually for." He reached out and gently took Elena's hand, her cracked, worn hand that told the story of her sacrifice. "Money is supposed to help people," Marcus said. "It's supposed to make life better, easier, safer, but I've been using it wrong. I've been hoarding it, worshiping it, treating it like it's more important than people." "You're not a terrible father," Mateo said loyally. "You're just busy." "Too busy," Marcus said. "But that's going to change. Starting today, I'm coming home for lunch every single day. And I'm leaving work at 5 o'clock. No more late nights. No more weekends at the office." Diego's eyes went huge. "Really? You promise?" "I promise," Marcus said. He looked at both his sons. "I've missed so much. Your soccer games, your school plays, your everyday moments. And I can't get that time back. But I can do better starting now." Dr. Patel appeared in the doorway. Well, this is a much happier scene than last night, she said with a smile. How are you feeling, Elena? Tired, Elena admitted, but better. You'll be here for a few more days, Dr. Patel said. We need to get your strength back up slowly, but with proper rest and nutrition, you should make a full recovery. She gave Marcus a meaningful look. As long as the circumstances that caused this don't happen again. They won't, Marcus promised. I guarantee it. Over the next 3 days, Marcus did something he'd never done before. He canceled all his meetings. He ignored his emails. He let his assistant handle everything. And he stayed at the hospital with Elena and his sons. They played card games. They watched cartoons on the little TV. They talked, really talked, for the first time ever. Marcus learned that Elena's favorite color was yellow because it reminded her of sunshine. He learned that she dreamed of becoming a teacher someday. He learned that she'd left Guatemala 8 years ago to find work, leaving behind her mother and 2 younger sisters. She'd been alone in America for 8 years, working, sending money home, sacrificing everything for her family, just like a good mother would do. On the 4th day, Dr. Patel released Elena from the hospital. Marcus had hired a wheelchair even though she insisted she could walk. He pushed her out to a silver Mercedes while the boys carried a bouquet of yellow flowers they'd bought in the gift shop. But they didn't go back to the mansion. Instead, Marcus drove to a small apartment building in Culver City. He'd rented Elena a beautiful 1-bedroom apartment with a view of a park. It was close to the mansion, but separate. Her own space. Her own home. You need somewhere to rest and recover, Marcus explained. Take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long you need. The staff will handle everything at the house. Elena cried as she walked through the sunny apartment. It had a cozy kitchen and a soft bed and a bathroom with a big tub for soaking her tired feet. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you, Mr. Chan. Call me Marcus, he said. Please. 2 weeks later, Elena returned to work, but everything was different now. She arrived at 9 in the morning instead of 5. The new cook, Maria, had already made breakfast. The new maids, Rose and Carmen, were already cleaning. The gardener, Jose, was trimming the rose bushes. Elena's only job was to spend time with Mateo and Diego. They did homework together at the kitchen table. They played soccer in the backyard. They read books on the couch. They made craft projects that left glitter all over the floor, but Rosa just smiled and swept it up. And every day at noon, Marcus's silver Mercedes pulled through the gates. He came home for lunch. Every single day. They ate together, Marcus, Elena, Mateo, and Diego. Sometimes Maria joined them. Sometimes the other staff did too. The big fancy dining room that had been empty for years suddenly filled with laughter and conversation and the sounds of a real family. 1 month after Elena's collapse, Marcus sat in the backyard, watching her play soccer with the boys. She wore comfortable clothes instead of a maid's uniform. Her face had color again. Her hands were healing. She was smiling. Mateo scored a goal and ran to hug her. She lifted him up and spun him around. Diego joined the hug. All 3 of them laughed together in the golden afternoon sunlight. Marcus pulled out his phone. He'd gotten a message from Guatemala. Elena's mother had completed her first round of cancer treatment. The doctors were hopeful. She was responding well. He smiled and put the phone away. Money couldn't buy happiness. Marcus had learned. But money used wisely, money used with love and care and attention to the people who mattered, that could change everything. Daddy, Diego called. Come play with us. Yeah, Daddy. Mateo agreed. We need another player. Marcus stood up. He loosened his tie and kicked off his expensive shoes. Then he ran barefoot across the grass to join his family. His real family. Not the one defined by blood, but the one built by love, sacrifice, and second chances. Elena kicked the ball to him. He kicked it back. They played until the sun set, and the stars came out. And for the first time in years, Marcus Chin felt truly, completely rich. Not because of the money in his bank account, but because of the people in his life. Sometimes we get so caught up in success that we forget what success is really for. We chase money and power and forget the people right in front of us who need us most. Marcus almost lost everything before he learned what truly mattered. But he changed. He opened his eyes. He became the father his sons deserved and the friend that Elena needed. What about you? Who in your life might be struggling in silence? Who might need you to truly see them? Sometimes the simplest acts, coming home early, asking how someone is really doing, paying attention, can save a life. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to read it. Like this video and subscribe for more powerful stories about love, family, and second chances. Leave a comment below. What would you do in Marcus's place? Have you ever been too busy to notice someone who needed help? Remember, the people we overlook may be the very ones holding our world together. Thank you for reading. See you in the next story.